In a previous era, before the modern era of consumer capitalism, people's sense of self, their personal identities, were shaped largely through their communities, their neighbourhoods. Nowadays, where all of those supports have fallen away, the gap that was left has been filled by the marketers who came in and said, don't worry if you don't know who you are. We will provide you with a packaged identity which you can use, by buying our products of course, to create a sense of self which you can then project onto the world.
If you look at what's currently motivating industrial growth, not only in the US, but in the so-called emerging developing nations, China, India, South Korea, and others, it has a great deal to do with the desire to emulate the American way of life.
跟中国人就是不一样，他比较有品味，比较时尚，在穿衣服方面就比较很随便，但是在吃的方面，什么说做事的方面就跟中国人不一样。我经常拿美国人和中国人进行比较，我就比较敬佩美国人。
Encouraging consumerism threatens the ecological fabric of the entire planet. Natural resources are already stretched to breaking point by population pressures. And yet we have an economic system that encourages each and every one of us to consume more and more and more.
It's a terrific onslaught of marketing, merchandising, advertising, brainwashing. So we are on a big consumptive splurge, but we have 4 times the population of US. And if we start consuming, the consumption levels reach like America, then we will be consuming all the resources of the planet right in India.
If there's one thing that political parties from the left to the right seem to agree on today, it's the power and value of the free market. But the irony is that the majority of really polluting things that are happening today would not exist within a genuine free market. Nuclear power couldn't exist, for example, without massive state support.
There are billions and billions of dollars being poured into continuing business as usual. Whether that's subsidizing fossil fuels, whether it's subsidizing huge monocultures, whether it's giving corporate welfare to some of the already largest and most powerful corporations around.
It would be impossible to maintain the current global economy as it is today without enormous support from governments around the world. We're about as far away from a free market as it's possible to be.
One of the most important studies that we have on the effects of local business compared the impacts of $100 spent at a local bookstore versus $100 spent at a chain. $100 spent at the local bookstore left $45 in the local economy. $100 spent at the chain left $13. So you get 3 times the income effects, 3 times the jobs, 3 times the tax proceeds for local governments. The principal difference was that the local bookstore had a local high-level management team. It used local lawyers and accountants. It advertised on local radio and TV. None of those things were true of the chain store.
So we went from a situation where this area was fully populated. Today, most of the land is vacant. The grocery stores that we have are basically liquor stores that have a little food in them. The food is old, and terrible quality. Since we have so many people who need food, then it's only logical for us to use the land to raise food.
The garden feeds any and everybody, from that person who comes down here every day in her Jaguar to the person who comes down here asking if we have any cans.
Right.
So any and everybody can eat, but the only thing we ask is come get dirty. If you see a weed, pick a weed, and you can always eat.
Yeah, I mean, people looking for the garden. See the tomatoes over there looking good. Can I get a couple of those? Yeah, man, come on.
We should have something to share with the rest of the country and with people who are middle class about what needs to be changed in the society. Changes in values, changing in ways of surviving.
you know, just as a prophetic message, I think that Detroit might need to look into agriculture again.
We have no choice.
Vacant lots and
with the state of our economy and where we're headed, the big three no longer, so there are no factories to take care of people. You're going to see a lot more people actually getting back and attempting to reclaim that which was once theirs.
Right.
Young people are now desperately looking for something else than what they were learning in universities. They were desperately looking for contact with nature. It's important to learn traditional farming, but at the same time, just being in the mud and having fun working like this. They are learning what it means to live. They eat rice every day. And then now they are learning, hey, this is where rice is coming from.
Local knowledge is knowledge that tells you about life. It is about living. I call it grandmother's knowledge, and I think the biggest thing we need, the task for today, is to create grandmother's universities everywhere so that local knowledge never disappears.